Mom texted, "You're not a priority," while I ate alone at my promotion dinner. 2 hours later, cousin posted, "Family night for the real success story. My brother's Tesla. I paid the $1,940 bill, went home, canceled the mortgage. I'd covered 3 years and taped a note. Let him pay it." By morning, 81. Missed calls, and my brother was at my door, crying. "Hey Reddit, I'm Maverick, 35 male, and I'm sitting here at 3 a.m. on my couch with a glass of whiskey, trying to process the absolute shit show that's been the last 72 hours of my life. I need to write this down before I second guess what I did, because right now, watching my phone blow up with increasingly desperate messages, I'm feeling pretty freaking satisfied. But let's back up. Way up. Because this story doesn't start 3 days ago. It starts about 30 years ago when my brother Devin was born, and apparently the universe decided I was just the opening act. I'm the oldest of 2 kids. Devin's 3 years younger, and from the moment that kid could walk, he was the center of my parents' world. Not in a subtle way either. I'm talking full-blown golden child worship that would make a helicopter parent look chill. When I was 8 and Devin was 5, I won the regional spelling bee. Studied my ass off for months. Beat out 200 other kids. My parents attended because they had to. I was their ride home from school. The trophy went on a shelf in my room where it collected dust. No celebration, no special dinner, just a good job, and back to normal life. 3 months later, Devin scored a goal in Pee Wee soccer. 1 goal. Out of a season where his team lost every single game. My parents threw him a party, invited the whole neighborhood, got him a cake with his name and frosting, and a little edible soccer ball. They hired a photographer. Actual professional photos of Devin with his participation trophy. The main photo from that party is still the centerpiece of my mom's Facebook profile to this day. That's just how it was. I learned early that no matter what I accomplished, Devin's participation trophy would somehow be more important. Middle school wasn't any better. I made honor roll every single quarter for 3 years straight. My parents signed the certificates and stuck them in a drawer. Devin made honor roll once in 3 years, and they took him to Dave and Buster's and let him invite 4 friends. I remember sitting at that table watching Devin and his buddies play arcade games with the $200 in tokens my parents had bought, thinking about how my straight A's had earned me a signature and a drawer. High school? I graduated valedictorian, got a full ride to state for engineering. Devin barely graduated with a 2.3 GPA, and my parents were so relieved he'd made it that they bought him a car. A decent one too. A Honda Accord. Only 4 years old, with under 60,000 miles. Me? I got a hearty handshake and was told that scholarship showed I didn't need their help. I drove my mom's old minivan to college for my first 2 years, until I could afford to buy my own beater. College was more of the same. I worked 2 jobs, one at the campus IT help desk, another doing weekend shifts at a warehouse, while maintaining a 3.9 GPA in one of the hardest majors offered. I was exhausted constantly. Lived off ramen, peanut butter sandwiches, and the occasional splurge at Taco Bell. But I was determined to graduate debt-free with that scholarship. Devin went to community college on my parents' dime. They paid his tuition, his books, gave him a monthly allowance for expenses. He changed majors 4 times over 6 years, started with business, switched to communications, then graphic design, finally settled on general studies. He took 6 years to finish a 2-year degree, and when he finally walked across that stage, my mom cried like he'd just cured cancer. They threw him another party, invited everyone, had a cake that said, "We always believed in you." I graduated with my engineering degree in 4 years, magna cum laude. My parents didn't attend the ceremony because Devin had a really important intramural basketball tournament that same weekend. He rode the bench the entire time, and his team lost by 40 points. After college, I landed a job at a mid-sized tech firm doing systems architecture. The pay was decent, $68,000 to start, which was pretty good for 2012. I lived in a studio apartment that cost $950 a month, drove a 1998 Corolla that burned a quart of oil every 2 weeks, and ate a lot of pasta. But I was saving, always saving, putting away 20% of every paycheck because I knew nobody was going to bail me out if things went sideways. Devin moved back in with my parents and worked sporadically, mostly retail jobs he'd quit after a few months because the manager didn't respect him or because it wasn't aligned with his goals. He worked at Best Buy for 4 months, Target for 3, some startup that folded after 6 weeks. My parents never charged him rent. They paid his car insurance, $180 a month because he'd already had 2 accidents. They covered his phone bill, bought his groceries, basically funded his entire existence while he figured things out. When he totaled the Accord they'd bought him, his fault, scrolling through Instagram while driving and rear-ending someone at a red light, they co-signed for a new one, a Nissan Altima, financed at 6.5% interest because Devin's credit was already shit. I bought my first condo in 2015, a small one-bedroom in a decent neighborhood that needed work. I spent 6 months renovating it myself. YouTube tutorials and elbow grease. Learned to tile a bathroom, install new light fixtures, refinish hardwood floors. My parents toured it once, spent most of the visit pointing out everything I still needed to fix, and left early because Devin needed help moving into his new apartment. His third apartment in 2 years, by the way. He kept getting evicted for being behind on rent, even though my parents were giving him help, that I later found out meant they were covering $800 of his $1,200 monthly rent. So basically, Devin was paying $400 a month to live in a one-bedroom apartment while working part-time at a cell phone store. The pattern continued into our 30s. I kept advancing in my career. Got poached by a bigger firm in 2017. Salary jumped to $95,000. Bought a better place in 2019, a 2-bedroom condo in a really nice area, sold the first one for a $47,000 profit. Started investing seriously, maxing out my 401k, building a portfolio. Meanwhile, Devin bounced between jobs, never lasting more than 18 months anywhere. He moved back in with my parents in 2020, temporarily, and never left. And here's the thing. I kept telling myself I didn't care, that I'd moved past needing my parents' approval. I had built a good life on my own. I had friends who valued me, colleagues who respected me, a career trajectory that was solid. I was doing fine. But every family gathering, every holiday, every goddamn phone call reminded me exactly where I stood in the family hierarchy. Somewhere around acquaintance they felt obligated to stay in touch with. Last Christmas was particularly brutal. I'd gotten a significant raise and bonus. Total comp package now sitting at $140,000. Paid off my car loan early, maxed out my 401k contribution, had a healthy 6-month emergency fund. I showed up to my parents' house with nice gifts for everyone. A new tablet for mom because her old one was dying, a high-end cordless tool set for dad since he liked doing projects around the house. And yeah, even got Devin something decent. A really nice leather messenger bag from Fossil for job interviews, since he was looking for new opportunities. Devin showed up with nothing. Literally nothing. Said he was between checks and would get everyone gifts later. Spoiler, never happened. But the entire evening was about how hard Devin was working to find the right fit, how impressive his interview skills were, how he just needed the right opportunity to showcase his talents. I mentioned my raise exactly once in passing when Dad asked how work was going. Oh, got a nice bump this year. Things are going well. Oh, that's good, he said, then immediately turned to Devin. Hey, did you hear back from that marketing position you applied to last week? And that was it. My $30,000 raise got 3 words before we were back to the Devin show. But I buried it. Again. Because that's what I did. I showed up, I participated, I played the role of the responsible older brother who had his shit together and didn't need attention. And I told myself I was fine with it. The real financial arrangement started 3 years ago, in early 2021. My parents were in trouble. Dad had retired the year before from his job as a regional distribution manager, and between his pension and Social Security, they should have been fine. They owned their house outright, a nice 3-bedroom in a decent suburb, bought in 1995 for $180,000, probably worth $400,000 now. Should have been fine. Except Dad called me one night in February 2021, voice tight with stress I'd rarely heard from him, and explained they were 3 months behind on their property taxes and were getting threatening letters from the county. Nearly $8,000 owed, with penalties and interest stacking up daily. They were facing a tax lien, which could eventually lead to the county seizing the house. I drove over the next day, sat down at their kitchen table with their finances spread out. It was ugly. Turns out they'd refinanced the house in 2018 to pay off credit card debt. Except they'd taken out way more than the debt, pulled out $85,000 total on a cash-out refi. The credit card debt they'd paid off? About $30,000 across 4 cards. The rest, $55,000, had somehow evaporated over 3 years, and they couldn't tell me where. I could guess. Devin had borrowed $2,500 for his security deposit and first month's rent on that apartment in 2019. He'd needed $1,800 for car repairs after he ignored the check engine light until his transmission failed. There was the $3,200 for his business idea, some Amway-style nutrition supplement thing that lasted 2 months. Plus, Mom had developed a serious QVC habit that Dad couldn't bring himself to confront her about. Boxes arrived weekly. Kitchen gadgets, decorative items, jewelry, crafting supplies she never used. Their new mortgage from the 2018 refi was $1,575 a month on a 20-year note. On top of that, they had a car payment for Mom's SUV, $480 monthly, because she'd insisted on a newer model in 2019. Plus, utilities running $350 to $400 a month, insurance, property taxes that they'd been letting slide, the usual costs of living. Dad's pension covered most of it, but not all. And Devin, living rent-free in their house at age 32, contributed exactly nothing. They'd been letting things slide for months. The property taxes had gone unpaid because they couldn't cover both that and the mortgage. They were 2 payments behind on the SUV, about to get a repossession notice. Their savings account had $347 in it. They were drowning, and they'd been too embarrassed to tell anyone until the county sent that final warning about the tax lien. I should have let them figure it out. I should have told them to sell the house, downsize, make Devin get his own place and contribute. That would have been the healthy, boundary-respecting thing to do. That's what my therapist would have told me if I'd been seeing one. But they were my parents, and despite everything, despite the decades of being second best, I didn't want to watch them lose their home. I didn't want my mom, who'd lived in that house for 26 years, to have to pack up and move because they'd made bad financial decisions. So I made them an offer. I'd pay their mortgage every month, all $1,575 of it. Plus, I'd knock out the back taxes immediately. In exchange, they'd need to start managing their other bills better. Cut back on spending. No more QVC. Make Devin contribute something. Get a handle on their finances. They agreed tearfully. Dad hugged me, said I was saving them, said he didn't know what they would have done without me. Mom cried and said she was so ashamed they'd let it get this bad, but that I was an angel for helping them. I wrote them a check for $8,000 right there for the taxes. Then I set up automatic payments from my account to their mortgage company, $1,575 every single month for 36 months straight. That's $56,700. In case you're doing the math, $56,700 over 3 years. I told myself it was an investment in their security, that it was the right thing to do, that I could afford it, and they were family, and this was what family did. And I made them promise not to tell anyone, not Devin, not extended family. I didn't want it becoming a thing. Didn't want Devin feeling entitled to even more because Maverick can afford it. Didn't want relatives judging them for their financial situation or judging me for bailing them out. They agreed. Said they were grateful for my generosity and discretion. Said they'd make it right somehow. For 3 years, I paid. Never missed a month. Never complained. Never brought it up. I just did it. Quietly, consistently, while living my life and continuing to advance my career. And for 3 years, every family gathering, every holiday, every phone call, I continued to be an afterthought while Devin remained the center of attention despite contributing absolutely nothing. Last month, I got promoted. Senior Systems Architect with a fancy new title and a salary bump to $165,000 base, plus a 20% bonus potential. This was a major milestone, the kind of promotion that usually takes 15 years of career building to achieve, and I got it at 35. I'd been managing increasingly complex projects, leading teams of 12 engineers, getting recruited by competitors quarterly. This promotion put me in the top 5% of earners in my age group in my city. I was freaking proud. For the first time in years, I wanted to celebrate with my family. Wanted them to acknowledge that I'd worked my ass off and achieved something significant. I called my mom the day I got the news, while walking to my car in the parking garage, still riding high from the meeting where they'd told me. Hey mom, got some really good news today. Got promoted to Senior Systems Architect. Pretty big deal for me. Oh, that's wonderful, honey, she said, distracted. I could hear Devin's voice in the background. Devin's here, we're helping him with something. Can I call you back? Sure, yeah, just wanted to share the news. That's great, sweetie. Talk soon. She didn't call back. 2 days later, I texted my dad. Just got promoted. Want to celebrate this weekend if you guys are free. Dinner on me. His response came 4 hours later. Congrats. We'll check calendar and let you know. Never heard back. Fine. I was used to it. But this time, it stung more than usual. This was a big deal to me, and they couldn't even pretend to care for 5 minutes. So I decided to celebrate by myself. Made a reservation at Marcello's, this upscale Italian place downtown that I'd been wanting to try. Jacket required dress code, 200 plus bottles of wine, Michelin recommended. The works. Figured I'd earned the right to treat myself properly. If my family wasn't going to celebrate my achievement, I damn well would. Yesterday, Wednesday night, I put on my best suit, the charcoal Tom Ford I'd bought myself last year, paired it with a burgundy tie, and drove downtown. The restaurant was on the 14th floor of a historic building, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city lights. I walked into Marcello's alone at 7:30 p.m., got seated at a small table by the window with a perfect view of the downtown skyline. The waiter, seeing I was dining solo, gave me that professional sympathy smile waiters perfect over the years. Table for one tonight, sir. Just me, I confirmed, not feeling embarrassed about it. Celebrating a promotion. Congratulations, sir, he said warmly, and it felt more genuine than anything my family had offered. May I suggest starting with our Prosecco? We have a lovely bottle from the Veneto region. I did, and I ordered properly. The butternut squash and sage risotto to start. Then the dry-aged ribeye, 48 ounces, perfectly marbled, cooked medium rare. Roasted Brussels sprouts with pancetta. A bottle of wine that cost more than my weekly grocery budget. Some Barolo the sommelier recommended. I was treating myself because nobody else was going to acknowledge what I'd accomplished. The food was incredible. Every bite of that risotto was perfect. Creamy, perfectly seasoned, the sage giving it this earthy complexity that made me understand why people get obsessed with Italian food. The ribeye arrived on a sizzling plate, crusty and caramelized on the outside, tender and pink inside. I was savoring it, actually enjoying myself despite being alone. About 45 minutes into my meal, I was working through the risotto, halfway through my first glass of the Barolo. My phone buzzed on the table. Text from Mom. How was your day? I smiled. Maybe she'd remembered. Maybe she'd actually followed up about the promotion, felt bad about blowing me off earlier. Pretty good, I replied. At Marcello's celebrating my promotion. Ribeye here is incredible. I watched the 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. My chest felt light, hopeful even. Maybe this was the moment they'd acknowledge. Then, that's nice. Hey, can't really talk now. Devin's big night. We're all together. I stared at that message, read it 3 times. Each time it got worse. Devin's big night? What's going on? I typed back, though part of me already knew this wasn't going to be good. The response came fast. Devin bought a Tesla! We're all here celebrating. It's so exciting. He worked so hard for this. So proud of him. I felt something crack inside my chest. Physically felt it, like someone had reached in and snapped a bone. I'm sitting at one of the best restaurants in the city, alone, celebrating a promotion that took 15 years of grinding to achieve. And my entire family, parents, brother, apparently cousins and friends, are together having a big night because Devin bought a freaking car. Not earned through some career achievement. Not won through hard work. Not achieved through sacrifice. Bought. With money he definitely didn't have. Oh, I typed back. My hands weren't shaking. I was weirdly calm. That's great. Congrats to him. Thanks, sweetie. Talk later. I set my phone down, stared at my perfectly cooked steak, my wine, my expensive meal. It all tasted like cardboard now. The waiter came by, asked if everything was all right. I nodded, smiled, told him it was perfect, kept eating mechanically. 20 minutes later, I was working through the Brussels sprouts now, just going through the motions. My phone buzzed again. Instagram notification. My cousin Rachel had posted a story. I shouldn't have looked. I knew I shouldn't have. But I opened it anyway. And there they were. All of them. My parents, Devin, my aunt and uncle, Rachel and her boyfriend, a couple of Devin's friends I vaguely recognized, gathered in my parents' living room, glasses raised in a toast. In the driveway visible through the window behind them was a white Tesla Model 3, gleaming under the porch light. The caption on Rachel's story, family night for the real success story. So proud of at Devin Maverick for making big moves. Tesla life, family first, success story. I zoomed in on the photo. My mom had her arm around Devin, beaming like he'd just won a Nobel Prize. My dad was shaking his hand with both hands, the way you congratulate someone on a major life achievement. Everyone looked genuinely joyful. There was a cake on the coffee table. A freaking cake. For a car purchase. I took a screenshot. Not sure why. Just instinct. Then I scrolled back to my messages. Looked at Mom's text. Devin's big night. And something in me just stopped caring. All the hurt, all the resentment, all the years of being second best just crystallized into this perfect, cold clarity. I've been paying their mortgage for 3 years. 3 years. $56,000. And they couldn't spare one single evening, to celebrate my actual career achievement. But Devin buying a car he definitely can't afford? That's worth a family party, a cake, a photo op for social media. I flagged down the waiter. Can I get the check, please? Of course, sir. Did you save room for dessert? Our tiramisu is exceptional, and we have a chocolate. Just the check. Thank you. He looked concerned but nodded professionally. It arrived in a leather folder a few minutes later. $1,940.37. The most expensive meal I'd ever eaten. Appetizer, ribeye, sides, bottle of wine, tax and tip, already calculated at 20%. I pulled out my card, changed the tip to 25% because the waiter had been excellent and none of this was his fault, and signed. $2,015.47 total. Walked out of Marcello's at 9:45 p.m. Got in my paid-off car and drove home. The entire drive, I was calm. Eerily calm. The kind of calm that comes when you've made a decision and you know it's the right one even though it's going to burn everything down. No tears, no anger, no second guessing. Just crystal clear certainty. Got home around 10:15 p.m. Poured myself 3 fingers of Maker's Mark. Sat down at my laptop. First, I logged into my bank account. Found the automatic payment I'd set up 36 months ago. Hovered over the delete button for maybe 3 seconds. Clicked it. Just gone. No more $1,575 leaving my account on the 15th of every month. Then I called my mortgage company's customer service line. They had 24/7 support. Got a very confused representative. Hi, I need to stop making payments on someone else's mortgage. I'm sorry, sir. Could you clarify what you mean? I've been making payments on my parents' mortgage for the last 3 years. I'm not on the loan, but I'm listed as authorized to make payments. Account number is... I read it off. I need to remove that authorization and cease all future payments immediately. There was typing. A long pause. Sir, I see you've been making payments from your account ending in 4783. You want to stop these payments? Immediately. Tonight if possible. And I need written confirmation. That will take effect on the next billing cycle. The payment currently scheduled for the 15th will not process. You'll receive an email confirmation within 24 hours. Perfect, thank you. Hung up. Took another sip of whiskey. The burn felt good. Then I opened a Word document. Typed for about 10 minutes. Printed it out on regular paper. Nothing fancy. Just the facts. In Calibri 12-point font. On standard white printer paper. The note read, Mom and Dad, effective immediately, I'm no longer paying your mortgage. For the past 36 months, I've paid $1,575 every month, $56,700 total, plus the $8,000 in back taxes I cleared in February 2021. That's $64,700 I've quietly contributed to keep your house. I did this because I didn't want to see you lose your home. I asked for nothing in return, except some basic financial responsibility on your end. Tonight, while I sat alone at a restaurant celebrating a major career promotion, a promotion that represents 15 years of hard work, you threw a party for Devin because he bought a car. When I told you about my promotion, you couldn't even pretend to care. You couldn't spare 5 minutes. But Devin buying a Tesla? That's a big night worth gathering the whole family, baking a cake, and posting about it on social media. I'm done being invisible. I'm done funding a household that treats me as an afterthought. I'm done being valued only for my ability to solve your financial problems. The mortgage payment is due on the 15th. That's 12 days from now. You'll need to figure out how to cover $1,575. Maybe ask Devin to contribute. Since he can afford a Tesla, surely he can help pay for the home he's been living in rent-free for 5 years. Don't contact me. I need space from all of this. And I don't know when or if I'll be ready to speak to you again. Maverick, I read it over 3 times. Changed nothing. It was perfect. Clear, factual, not overly emotional. Just the truth. Drove back to my parents' house. About 15 minutes away. It was nearly midnight by then. All the cars were gone except Dad's truck in the driveway. The Tesla was parked in the driveway next to it, gleaming white under the streetlight like a beacon of everything wrong with my family dynamic. I pulled in behind it, walked up to the front door with the note in hand, and taped it right at eye level with 3 pieces of Scotch tape. Made sure it was secure. Made sure it would be the first thing anyone saw when they opened that door. Then I got in my car and went home. Didn't look back. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Poured another whiskey. Sat in my living room in the dark. Lights off. Just me and the glow of the city outside my windows. And waited. The first call came at 6:47 a.m. My phone was still on DND, but I could see the notifications piling up on my lock screen. Dad, Mom, Dad again. Mom, Devin, Mom, Dad, unknown number. Probably Devin using someone else's phone. By 8 a.m., I had 23 missed calls. By noon, 56. By 8 p.m. yesterday, so 20 hours after I'd posted the note, I had 81 missed calls, 127 text messages, 14 voicemails, and 6 emails. I didn't check any of them. Not yet. Until last night. Around 10 p.m., someone started pounding on my door, hard enough that my neighbor probably heard it through the walls. I looked through the peephole. Devin. He looked like absolute shit. Red, swollen eyes, hoodie thrown over wrinkled clothes that looked like he'd slept in them, clearly hadn't showered. He was crying. Actually crying. Shoulders shaking, snot running down his face. Maverick! He pounded again. Maverick, please, I know you're in there. Your car's here. Please open up. I stood there silent, watching him through the peephole. I'm sorry, okay? I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know you were paying their mortgage. If I'd known, he broke down crying harder, slid down the door until he was sitting on my doorstep, face in his hands. Please, Maverick. Dad's freaking out. Mom won't stop crying. They can't afford the mortgage without you. I can't help them. The Tesla, I leased it. I barely got approved. The down payment was $4,500, and I had to borrow that from Mom and Dad. My payment is $680 a month, and I don't even know how I'm going to make that. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath. Please, you're my brother. We need you. I need you. I freaked up, okay? We all freaked up. But please, you can't do this to them. They'll lose the house. I opened the door. Just a crack. Enough to speak through the gap. The chain lock still engaged. Devin scrambled to his feet. Maverick, go home, I said quietly. Maverick, please, just listen. I said go home. You need to leave my property before I call the police. But they can't. They can't make the payment without you. Dad's pension doesn't cover it, and they can. They just need to sell that Tesla you just bought. Take that $4,500 you spent on the down payment. Oh, wait, that was their money, wasn't it? They need to make you start paying rent. They need to cut their expenses and live within their means like everyone else. I can't pay rent. I'm barely covering my own car payment. Then you shouldn't have leased a freaking Tesla, I said flatly. Devin's face crumpled. We're family. Family shows up for each other. Family celebrates each other's wins. Family doesn't throw parties for car leases while ignoring actual accomplishments. You want to know what family is? Family doesn't take $64,700 from someone and never acknowledge it. Family doesn't treat someone like an ATM machine that occasionally shows up for holidays. I'll make it right, Devin said desperately. Just give me a chance. I'll get a better job. I'll pay you back every cent. I don't want your money, Devin. I want you to be a freaking adult. I want Mom and Dad to stop enabling you. But mostly, I want all of you to leave me the hell alone. I started to close the door. Wait! Devin shoved his foot in the gap. At least talk to Mom and Dad. Please. They're destroyed. Mom hasn't stopped crying since yesterday morning. She's making herself sick. Good, I said. And I meant it with every fiber of my being. Maybe she should have thought about that before she couldn't spare 5 minutes to care about my promotion, but threw a party for your leased car. That's not fair. What's not fair? I said, my voice rising now for the first time, is paying someone's mortgage for 3 years while being treated like I don't exist. What's not fair is working my ass off my entire life while watching you coast on their support. What's not fair is being told I'm not a priority by the people whose financial security I've been personally guaranteeing for 36 months straight. Devin pulled his foot back. He was full-on sobbing now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Good night, Devin. I closed the door, locked it, walked away while he kept knocking and pleading for another 5 minutes. Eventually, he left. This morning, I finally looked at my messages. Most were from my parents, increasingly desperate as the hours passed. Mom, 6:47 a.m. yesterday. Maverick, please call me. We need to talk about this note. Dad, 7:15 a.m. Son, let's discuss this. There's been a misunderstanding. Mom, 7:33 a.m. Maverick, you can't do this to us. We're your parents. Dad, 8:02 a.m. This is extremely irresponsible. We have a mortgage due in 12 days. Call me back now. Mom, 8:45 a.m. How could you do this to your own family? After everything we've done for you? That one made me laugh out loud. Everything they've done for me. Right. Dad, 10:30 a.m. Your mother is beside herself. This is affecting her health. Is this really what you want? Mom, 12:14. We gave you life. We raised you. And this is how you repay us? The texts kept coming throughout the day, cycling through guilt, anger, bargaining, more guilt, back to anger. By yesterday evening, they'd shifted tactics. Mom, 6:15 p.m. Devin told us he came to see you. He said you wouldn't even talk to him. He's your brother, Maverick. How can you be so cruel? Dad, 7:42 p.m. We will figure this out without you. Don't think we need you. We're contacting a lawyer about the money you basically stole from us. That was my favorite. I stole money from them by stopping payments on a mortgage I was never obligated to pay in the first place. Good luck with that lawyer, Dad. Then this morning, the tone shifted again. More voicemails from Mom, her voice thick with tears. Maverick, sweetie, please. I'm begging you. We made mistakes, okay? We should have celebrated your promotion properly. We should have been there for you. But please don't punish us like this. We're going to lose everything. Your father and I will be homeless. Is that what you want? And from Dad. I'm asking you, man to man, to reconsider this. What you've done for us these 3 years, we're grateful. We really are. We just didn't know how to show it properly. But we can't make this payment. We can't. Please think about what you're doing to your mother. I've also gotten messages from relatives who apparently got pulled into this. My Aunt Carol, Rachel's mom. Maverick, I don't know what's going on, but your parents are devastated. Whatever happened between you all, it can be fixed. Family is forever. Call your mother. My cousin Rachel. Hey, I heard about what happened. I don't know the whole story, but the post I made, I didn't mean to make things worse. I had no idea there was tension. Your parents are really struggling. Can you at least talk to them? Even Devin's sent me multiple texts over the last 24 hours. Maverick, I'm moving out. I'm returning the Tesla to the dealership tomorrow. I'm going to get a second job. Please just give them 1 more month to figure things out. I told them I'd start paying $800 per month in rent starting next week. That'll help cover part of the mortgage. Please. I'm trying to fix this. You were right. About all of it. I've been a selfish piece of shit and they've let me get away with it my whole life. I'm going to change. I swear to God. Just please don't let them lose their house over this. Here's the thing, Reddit. I'm not actually trying to make them lose their house. Despite everything, I don't want my parents to be homeless. But I'm also completely done being taken for granted. Done being the invisible son who's only valued when they need money. Done watching Devin get celebrated for doing the bare minimum while I'm ignored for actually achieving things that matter. The mortgage is due in 10 days. They can sell the Tesla, even returning it to the dealership. They'll probably owe money on the lease, but that's their problem. They can make Devin pay actual rent like a grown adult. They can cut their expenses. They can sell Mom's SUV and get something cheaper. They can do 100 different things to make this work without me. Or they can lose the house. And honestly, at this point, I don't care which option they choose. What I do care about is that they finally understand that I'm not their backup plan. I'm not their safety net. I'm not the son they can ignore and neglect and then come crawling to when they need money. I'm done. My phone is still blowing up. My email has 8 messages from Dad now with subject lines like, "We need to talk immediately," and "regarding your obligations," and "your mother is ill." I haven't responded to any of them. I probably won't for a long time, if ever. The mortgage payment is due in 8 days. I'll update after the 15th to let you know what happens. Update. The 15th came and went. Hey Reddit. So the mortgage payment was due yesterday, and a lot of you asked for an update. Here's what went down. On the 14th, literally the day before the payment was due, I got an email from my dad's account. Subject line, payment confirmation. No message in the body, just a screenshot of their mortgage account showing a pending payment of $1,575 scheduled to process on the 15th. That was it. No apology, no explanation, just proof that they'd figured it out. I didn't respond. Through my cousin Rachel, who's been trying to play Switzerland in all this, I found out what actually happened. Devin returned the Tesla on the 12th. Apparently, he owed $2,100 to get out of the lease early, disposition fee plus the mileage overage from his test drives or some bullshit. My parents covered it using what was left in their savings account, which basically wiped them out. My dad took out a $3,000 loan against his pension. Didn't even know you could do that. But apparently it's a thing. The interest rate is something like 8%, and it'll get paid back through automatic deductions from his monthly pension checks for the next 2 years. Devin moved into the basement and started paying $900 per month in rent. His first payment cleared on the 13th. He picked up a second job doing overnight stocking at Target on top of his regular gig. Mom apparently stopped her QVC habit cold turkey after Dad threatened to cancel the credit card. So, yeah, they scrambled and figured it out. just like I knew they could. My mom's still sending me texts every few days. They've gotten less angry, more sad, lots of I miss you, and please call me when you're ready type stuff. I haven't blocked her, but I haven't responded either. Dad sent one email last week that was actually semi-reasonable. Acknowledged they'd taken me for granted, said they were working on things as a family, and that the door was open when I was ready to talk. Still didn't apologize for the Tesla party or ignoring my promotion, but whatever. Baby steps, I guess. Devon's left me alone after that night at my door. According to Rachel, he's apparently actually showing up to both jobs and hasn't complained once. She said he looks exhausted, but different somehow. Not sure I care, but it's something. The extended family has mostly backed off. A few relatives have reached out privately to say they get it, that they'd seen the favoritism for years and were glad I finally stood up for myself. That felt validating. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.